Well, I want to welcome you both to Washington Times Higher Ground. We have a lot of ground to cover today, a lot to talk about with the 1 year anniversary of October 7th. Of course, there has been chaos on the ground there in Israel and the Middle East. Even as we're talking right now, some of that is continuing with a lot of uncertainty. But Yossi, I want to start with you. I want to go back to October 7th, and just as you reflect on what happened a year ago, what's going through your heart? What is going through your mind now that it has been a year since that tragic event?
First of all, it's unbelievable that a year passed away from the 7th of October. It looks like it's happened yesterday. For me, 7th October catch me. I'm in military reserve, so I have been at home with my family. It was holiday, and I actually was in my way to the synagogue, and then I hear all the launch and the explosion from the bomb that Hamas shoot from Gaza, but I didn't understand exactly what happened. I just come back to home and check my phone because we don't go into the synagogue with the phone, and then I see all the message, the text message from the ones that responds on the security and the civilians around Gaza in the Israeli area. They are my friend. We work a lot together in our training. So they have my private number. And what was very difficult to me, it's that there is a lot of rank above me. I am Lieutenant Colonel, but there is a lot of rank above me that should get this message that they are now in the army and need to help the people. And just now it's going to need to start to get to me. And I understand that nobody is there for them. I take my uniform. I have my private gun, not the M16 that I have now because I'm now serving in the army, and drive as fast as I can to help them, to join them, because I have all the text that tell that terrorist is inside our home and they kill everybody and they burn the home. On the way, I text to my soldiers and tell them take your uniform, everything, and meet me at our base.
So you ran towards the danger. You went right in towards the danger to try and help immediately.
Yes, this is what we train to. Again, now when I have a second thought, maybe I need to stop before and to arrange myself better because we didn't understand, everybody not understand the big picture. And we don't have someone to speak with to get all the information to make maybe a better decision. But the goal was to come to the specific place that called Re'im, that my friend fight there, and to join them. On my way, I start to understand that I'm inside of a battle zone, in a war zone, because I see cars on the sides and bodies all around. So I take my weapon and I have a bullet ready. And I remember that half year before, we have some training with this specific citizen, and the one that responds on the security in there give me a bulletproof. I didn't have bulletproof because he wait for me in the base, and the bulletproof was from the fellowship. So I stop in the side, wear it, and take my gun and continue to the way to the west. And I get to road 232. It was a T. Forgot how we said.
Intersection.
Yes. The intersection. I see somebody on the floor on the road, and then some soldier that come out. For me, this area is Israel. Is not nothing dangerous should be there. So I come slow, and I think it's Israeli soldiers. But at the first second, I get a bullet right with my face. It hurt me in the ear,
You
and
got
I
shot in the ear.
yeah, it's just scratch on the ear. So, and I need to take the right in this intersection. I take the, it's one of the miracles that happen. I take the while left, the car take left. I was in the middle of a recording voice message to my base that I'm on the way, and I shout to them in Hebrew. It's called Yorim alai bereim. Somebody shoot at me, the terrorist in Tzomet Reim, in Reim intersection. And then seven terrorists come out from the trees. They just hide there. They make an ambush to everybody that come there. I look around and I see two cars in each way with the body outside, and they have the Nukhba terrorist had bulletproof and all kind of weapons, M16, Kalashnikov, and RPG and everything.
Can
And
I
they
just ask you, I don't, just as you're saying this, what's going through your mind as you're seeing all of this and you're going through this? What are you thinking about your own safety, about yourself in those moments?
I believe it. The specific moment, I didn't think about nothing, just how to survive, and all the acts that I take in this situation was automatically, because there is no chance that I can speak with you today if I need to stop for a moment and think what I'm doing. So they shot all over my car. Almost 20 bullets hit the car.
Wow.
One of the sharpnel hit my leg. I feel a very huge hit, and the car stopped because all the while was taken off the while, and the engine stopped, and I was just less than 100 meters from them, and they come to the car and continue to shooting. I'm going out with my weapon and start to shoot them back, to shoot out with them. They was like insane. They didn't understand that I'm shooting on them. Just walk and shooting on the car and on me. I succeed to kill one of them. And just when he fall down, they understand that somebody shoot off them back. So they come down for a second, and I use this second to run to the opposite way, and they run after me. They chased on me, and they continue to shooting. I feel all the bullets running to my sides, but the area was open. It was a field that's already pers- uh, um, it was empty, nowhere to hide. And just after 400 meters that I'm run, and when I come back after that I get out from the hospital, I take a video to look where I've been, and just there I recognize that I run 400 meter. It's for me it looked like 2 seconds, and then I found
Wow.
some big grass, dry grass that was there. I thought that it's maybe can hide me, and I climb up and fell inside, and my shoulder get out, and then I understand that there is no a lot of chance to me to finish this alive, and I just lay down with my weapon in my hand, and picture myself and send the last message to my family. My family is religion, so I don't know. In this moment, I didn't know when they're going to hear that or to get it.
You were saying goodbye. You were saying goodbye to your family in those
Yeah,
moments.
yeah. I'm count the bullet when I made the shootout with them, and I know that I left only 7 bullets. So it was very clear to me that 6 bullets is the one that's going to be in front of me, and the last bullet is for me. And they come to this grace. I don't know which miracle happened to me, but I hear them walking around, and I understand a little bit Arabic. They look for the officer. They understand that I'm a high rank, and they actually look for me to kidnap me. And um, I, I believe that if they succeed, it was the highest rank that have been kidnapped alive. If they succeed, and I didn't breathe and wait something like 20 minutes there inside the bush, inside this grass. And after 20 minutes, I start to hear shooting from the north because some other soldiers come there and start combat with them. But my problem was that I was in the deep. So all the shooting come through the terrorists to me. So I must to keep myself down, and I can't go out to tell to my to the other soldiers that I'm there because they will think that I'm part of the enemy.
One of the terrorists, right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
if they have the snipers, they look in and they found somebody that come out from the grass, they shoot me. They didn't ask questions, and I stay there inside something like 5 hours until I
Wow.
succeed to make a catch with someone that know where exactly I've been, and I know exactly who is come to take me out. And then just in 3 o'clock, it start in 9 in the morning and I start the shooting. It's like just in 3 o'clock, they evacuate me and to the hospital, and there I was 3 days, 4 days, and in the after this I come back to my soldier and join them to the rest of our reserve till now.
I first of all, I'm listening to this story and the details you just described, numerous moments where there were miracles, from being in the car to running out into the field and being able to find that high grass. What are the odds that that was there? And then not being discovered when they're walking all around you, saying goodbye to your family. I mean, Yael, as you're listening to this, I'm watching your face, and I know you've heard these stories. This has been your experience as well, in different ways, and all the work you're doing with the fellowship. What's going through your mind as you're listening to him share these details?
What's going through my mind as I hear Yossi's story is that we are surrounded by everyday heroes, people who look like regular civilians who in a second are running towards the war zone in order to save lives and help, are nothing short of heroes. And it brings me back simultaneously to that day on October 7th when I heard what was happening down south. And as a humanitarian leader, um, the only thing that I was called to do, because I'm not in the military and I'm not as brave as Yossi, and I don't have a gun, and I wasn't able to go down south in order to fight the terrorists. But what I was able to do was to help support those brave heroes by providing thousands of bulletproof vests and helmets, one of them which saved Yossi's life, thank God. And so I remember on October 7th, when I heard what was happening, my only thought was go, 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 distribute the bulletproof vests and helmets, go and get out all of your bulletproof vehicles to give to these heroes, go and place the bomb shelters that you're able to right now. Everything we're able to do in that first week following October 7th, everything that we have in any sort of storage area, anything that was in production, anything that we were able to do or on the ground doing. That in the first week alone, we distributed over $10 million of aid. And so to hear Yossi's story, it's so easy to hear these numbers, these huge numbers, distributed $10 million of aid and distributed over 5,000 bulletproof vests and helmets and placed hundreds of bomb shelters and distributed tens of thousands of meals. When I look at Yossi now, a year later, to hear where he was a year ago in the bushes surrounded by terrorists, and to see him now that he hasn't put down his weapon defending Israel for the past year, risking his own life many times since then, I just feel so honored and lucky and blessed that me and our hundreds of thousands of Christian donors across the world are able to be there to provide a little bit of comfort, protection, and save lives.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I can't believe that it's been a year, and obviously chaos continues. This has been an international story, obviously, for many reasons. Let's just, Yael, I want to start with you. How has life, and I know this is probably a complicated question in so many ways, but how has life changed for you and for Israel since October 7th?
Wow. Well, life has changed so much since October 7th when we realized we are still fighting our war of independence. We are in a war for our survival, literally. If we don't win this war, then the 7 million Jews who are living in Israel right now are gone, are done. We're in a war for our survival. There's no other way to say it. And so the way life has changed is in relatively small ways. In Israel, no woman wears high heels anymore because you have 30 seconds to run to a bomb shelter. You have to be wearing comfortable shoes in order to make it to a bomb shelter in time.
Wow.
When I send my children to school, to make sure that they're in a building with a bomb shelter. When my 8-year-old goes out riding a bike, I make sure he knows if there's a siren that he gets off the bike, lays on the floor, puts his hand over his head. So it's from those relatively small things to the big things of recognizing the world has turned its back once again on the Jewish people. That following October 7th, we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism that I never thought I would experience in my lifetime. Stories that my grandfather, a Holocaust survivor from Germany, told me that suddenly felt like I was experiencing them, that I am experiencing them now. Is this Germany 1930? It's something that is impossible to comprehend. But what I've also seen is the other side of that, the light in the darkness, that there are millions, tens of millions, people even say hundreds of millions of Christians in America and around the world who, despite the trend of standing against the Jewish people and against Israel, they have boldly, proudly, faithfully declared their unconditional support for Israel's right to exist, their unconditional love for the Jewish people, and have been a real light in the darkness to say, never again. I think this is the only community that before October 7th said never again, and even after October 7th continued to say never again and to put their actions behind those words.
Yeah, no, and I think, that's needed more than ever. You mentioned the anti-Semitism. We're seeing that obviously on college campuses. We're seeing it across the world in so many different places. But as an American, it's shocking to see that sort of thing happen. I live in New York, so to see, down the road in the city, 35 miles away in New York City, to see college students, saying the things that they're saying, the sorts of protests that have gone on, it has been shocking to watch that. And we could talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but Yossi, I want to ask you, obviously your life, I would imagine, has changed in profound ways. Talk a little bit about what has evolved and changed for you, what life is like in the day-to-day since October 7th.
My life changed from 180 degrees because I was a CEO of two companies, and for now I'm after 354 days in the military reserve. Um, my family see me something like 60 days from all these years.
Wow.
And the rest of the time I'm here in the army. Our days and our nights, just how to bring back not just the pride of our country, also the physical things, because the citizens were evacuated from their home, and the world must to end in such a way that the citizen can come back, and without any chance that something is going to happen again. And we know that we said it before, but now this is our obligation. This is our commitment for them to make it sure. And until it's going to be, I'm not going to back to my regular life.
Wow. Hearing that it's incredibly powerful to hear your devotion to that. On the other side of it, the fact that you are all in this position is unbelievable. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of media coverage that is not quite fair on this. And so that framing really shapes how people look at this outside of Israel. Yael, when you see the critique, when you see people saying things that are not true about this situation and about the position that Israel is in, I imagine that's frustrating. If you had people in front of you right now who were confused, didn't have the information, had misconceptions, what would you say to them right now to help them really understand what Israel is facing in this time?
Well, I think it's critical that everyone remembers, first and foremost, Israel is the size of New Jersey. We are a tiny country, 0.4% of the landmass of the Middle East, surrounded by hundreds of millions of enemies. We are a tiny country, the size of New Jersey, with 10 million citizens, surrounded by hundreds of millions of enemies who want to destroy us. I think it's important to remember that standing up for Hamas is not standing up for the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are being held hostage by Hamas, this terror organization, who is the first to kill them, to oppress them, it's the opposite of freedom. If you want to free Gaza, you want to free Gaza from Hamas because it's the worst thing for the Palestinian people. The people of Lebanon right now are being held hostage by another one of Iran's terror proxy groups, Hezbollah. 30% of Lebanon are Christian. A huge majority of the people of Lebanon want freedom, want progress. They're being held hostage by the Hezbollah terrorists. That I think what's important to realize is Israel is not only fighting for our survival, but we are fighting for the survival, freedom, prosperity of the entire Middle East. That there are so many Arab countries who have the noose around their neck of this Iran terror threat. And the second that we no longer have the threat of those terror groups that Iran has strategically placed throughout the Middle East, there will be a new reality that will be good for America, that will be good for Europe, that will be good for the Arab countries in the Middle East. And I think the entire free world knows this, but no one has been bold or brave enough to face the Iranian terror network across the Middle East because it's too scary. And October 7th changed that for Israel. Yes, it's scary to face this head on, but it's even scarier to let them continue to build their tentacles across the entire Middle East that are threatening to kill, and that's not being dramatic, the entire reality of the Western world, from Israel to Europe to America.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Yossi, I want to come to you on this because we just watched, a horrific attempted attack. Again, it was an attack by Iran. And we know Iran is behind many of these events that have been happening, including October 7th, through funding and emboldening terrorists. But this particular military event, with all of these missiles coming over to Israel, what can you tell us right now? What has you most concerned in light of what we saw and what is actually happening on the ground there right now in Israel?
Our most concern now is that we're not going to, I hope it's going to change because we're going to choose the time to give them fight back. But it's not, it can't be that a country attack Israel with missiles. And it's no matter that we have the ability to provide the damage from this missile, because we see what happened with one missile that we miss. Thousands of missiles shooting in Israel, but one we miss, and 12 kids, Arabs kids, actually died. So this is the dangerous from any missile that shoot in Israel. So now in Israel, it's become a very nervous when we know that something going to happen. It's make us in a high level of nervous, and it's after 1 hour that we finish to a board or to all these missiles. We come down and come to a regular way to act. But if I'm allowed, I want to speak a little bit about what you said before and ask Yael. We are failed in the conspiration in Israel that think that if we're going to support the Hamas and if you're going to give them a work in Israel and give them money and food and everything, so they're going to come down and they're going to start thinking about to negotiate with us and maybe not to attack us. And we understand that it's not to work with them. As Yael said, the Palestine peoples have been kidnapped. They're kidnapped by the Hamas. And all over the Arabs that not democratic countries. And my complaint to the Europe or to the countries that not support Israel, and I want them to think that we are the last democrats in this area. And when they support with someone that is not Democrat, they don't get the relationships between men. They not allowed two women to do a lot of things. And if this is a way of a neighbor that you want to make in this world, so continue to support them. We see what the immigration from Syria and from the Arabs that comes to Germany and Norway and Sweden, that they have a lot of problem from them because the way they think. And in the end, if they don't stop it now, it's going to come to their home. We are their proved shield, bulletproof for them. And now I allowed myself to continue what you asked about me. The people in Israel, the cities in Israel, listen to the order that we give them, the army give them, and the way they act give us as an army the option and the time to take our action in the right way. Because if they are not acting as we order, damage was very big in Israel, and we don't have any option about to hit now and hard as we can. I hope in this situation that is option to all over the world that we're going to end the religion, the Iranian extreminal leadership that even in Iran, with Iran, we have commercial relationships 40 years ago. We train Iranian soldiers when we have peace with them. But when they become extreme way and they start to be our enemy and said all over the world they just want to raise Israel and to kill the Zionists, whatever they are. So it's become to this way.
Well, Israel really is in the fight for your existence there. And we're going to go here in just a moment. But Yael, I just want to give you a chance. For those who want to support International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, where can they go to do that and get more information on your work?
Thank you so much. We're the voice for the silenced majority, that if you see what's happening in mainstream media and all the anti-Semitism that's speaking what seems like for the American people, and you don't back that, you don't stand for that, we're your voice on the ground in Israel and around the world to say, no, there are millions of people who are standing up against anti-Semitism, who are standing with Israel's right to exist. And it is the greatest honor to do that. And as we're standing up for Israel's right to exist and standing up for freedom and democracy, we're able to provide aid that's saving lives of people like Yossi. So if you want to join us, you can go to www.ifcj.org, and you can follow us also on social media, where we report every day on the life-saving work that you're making possible.
Well, I so appreciate you both taking the time and joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.